Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Crisis.
Do you have your bucket of KFC?
Merry Chrysler. Wait, does this mean we get to add Steins Gate 0 to our list of Christmas games?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
Yes, it is one.
All right. Awesome. Glad to have this on the list, alongside such prestigious works as Lady Killer in a Bind and Beautiful Boyfriend Holiday Star. Elite company there. Actually, no, those are two both equally great games, actually. Never mind. Yeah. The lab was filled with Santas, just like I'd heard on the phone. And all of them were wearing miniskirts.
Oh, it's Okabe.
Hold on, we all want to see. All right. Oh, my Aries looks very cute. Ferris, how did you... Okay, so Ferris's has to be bespoke, right? Her hair is still coming out of the... Okay. And Yuki over here not wearing her shawl, I see. Okay, awesome.
You want to know something?
Yes.
I can't stand the new Ferris design here because it makes her twin tails into massive twirling ear hair. It upsets me a lot.
You're right, it is.
It really upsets me.
I mean, they always were in her original design. It was just like a little like...
Were they?
Well, I mean, her ears are part of what keep the pigtails in place.
Yeah, but it didn't look like this.
No, it didn't look this obvious.
These ears are also way too big relative to the head.
They're probably lighter. That's where she stores all of the Ferris juice.
Yeah, I guess they always did come out at the base of the ear.
Yeah, because that's part of her whole hair getup. Is it like they also play like a structural part
Okay.
in keeping it all together.
Still, it didn't feel... Here it just feels weird.
Yeah, it does kind of look like uncombed ear hair.
Like this is gonna be fucking fist of the nose hair territory here.
No, get out of that. No, stop with this. Read your line.
I did, didn't I?
Oh.
I thought I did.
He's here, Nya. Oh, everything's ready.
Hey there, Merry Christmas.
Oh, hey, they get Christmas outfits too. Oh, hey, that's cute.
I just realized
Good evening, Okabe.
Kaide just gets a longer face than everybody else in this setting.
A longer face.
Yeah.
How come?
Everybody else's facial features are much closer together.
Oh, yeah. Kaide is just very...
This entire time I've been like, why does Kaide's art style look different than everybody else's? And it's because her face is
a little bit longer. Yep. Hi, everyone. The sight of so many girls in a small room like this all wearing Santa miniskirts threatened to overwhelm me. Luca! You look incredible!
Goth Santa.
Oh, with the blush stickers. Oh, Luca, you precious little bean. I was having trouble deciding where to look when Lukako staggered in front of me.
Okabe.
Oh, Lukako. What are you wearing? I didn't expect a Santa in black. And wasn't Luca exposing an awful lot of skin? It was really erotic. Just because I'm done fighting the game doesn't mean I have to read every line.
Okabe, I...
Lukako, I'm glad you survived, and that your skull hairpin appears to be intact. It must have been hard on Lukako. I gave Lukako a pat on the shoulder, and he smiled relieved. Hey, Nai finally shows up. We were just talking about that while watching the opening cinematic. Like, Nai and one other character we haven't seen yet both appear in there.
Yeah.
And they haven't shown up in the game yet. And finally, Nai gets to... Nai is actually probably the third or fourth most important character to science adventure at large in this room right now. So it's kind of incredible she hadn't shown up yet.
I wanted to wear a Santa outfit too. Okay. Next year, I'll make one for you too. Really? Yep. Thanks, big sis Mayuri.
Why did you put stickers on the television?
Okay, Okarin, come in, come in.
Oh, where are Daru and Suzuha?
No word yet.
The biggest goal today was to get Suzuha to participate. It was no exaggeration to say that's why Mayuri had held this party.
By the way, who are your guests?
I told them earlier I was bringing Dr. Leskinen and Maho. I brought the two of them inside.
Can we get a fucking Santa mini skirt for Dr. Leskinen?
Can we please get a mini skirt for Dr. Leskinen as well? You know what? I think Leskinen would be into it.
Yeah,
For
I
very
think
specific reasons, I think he would go along with it.
he seems like the kind of dude who would absolutely just like laugh it off and
Yeah.
do the thing and have a good time.
He's comfortable in his masculinity.
Yeah.
He's fine with it. This is Dr. Leskinen.
Merry Christmas.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh my. I don't know why we're all surprised at the blonde American man.
He's big. Thank you, cute little lady.
But not any bigger than Mr. Braun.
But Daddy's bigger.
And this is Maho Hyajo.
Hi. Nice to meet you, everyone. Wow.
Oh.
Oh my. Come
They have
on.
the exact same reaction
Yep.
to everybody.
Maho Nyan, we meet again. Oh, it's the Nyan Nyan girl.
Are you in elementary school? Middle school?
No, I'm actually a grown-up.
Sorry.
It's okay. I could still kick your ass in fighting games, though.
the one established part of Nai's character that. Oh, it's only been in the spin-off game so far. Yeah, that's true. Maho's smile froze on her face.
Mayuri, what do you think?
They're both perfect. Mayushi's thinking up all kinds of ideas. I should have gotten some smaller sizes ready. Nai could have worn one too. It's the biggest mistake in Mayushi's life.
Sorry about that. I'm here.
I would have wanted to see the two of them as little Santas. That would have been cute.
Yeah.
Mayuri had her in her sights then. There was no escape for Maho now. Mayuri was so stubborn, she'd even managed to convince the legendarily shy Lukuko.
So, what about the professor?
I've never made an outfit for someone that tall.
Doesn't have any problem with it. It's just he's tall.
Just having him there would guarantee a win, though.
Maybe a fluffy reindeer outfit with a red nose.
Maybe? Maybe not.
Wait, were they seriously going to dress up the professor as a reindeer? Hey, Mayuri, you shouldn't assume that everyone will understand your cosplay hobby.
Oh, that's right. It's not good to force people.
Lukuko from off camera.
Oh, now you learned that. But lately, even the boys at the convenience stores dress up as Santa for Christmas. Christmas and Komima are two very different things, aren't they?
Or so you say, but basically you want to dress the two of them up in Santa outfits, don't you?
So, Maho, do you want Mayushi to lend you a Santa outfit?
Uh-oh.
Mayuri was already going after her. Maho refused as forcefully as she could, but Dr. Leskinen was surprisingly interested. He'd been trying to put on a triangular paper party hat. Just getting... Oh, I didn't realize...
I'm the telling you, don't talk to me, talk to Maho. So I was wrong. There are random times when we can
Yep.
contact.
I'm so glad I did that.
He's almost here, and Suzu's with him.
Mayuri was looking at her smartphone. It looked like Daru had pulled it off. I guess he really was Suzuha's dad. This meant we succeeded in our biggest objective, which meant it was on to the next mission. We'd all decided that we're going to surprise Suzuha. Suzuha didn't know that we were all waiting for her. That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, oh no. Why would you do this?
That sounds like
no.
a terrible
We've already
idea.
established that Suzuha has horrible PTSD from future war. No.
It's okay because Okabe's got the funny kind of PTSD. Suzuha's got the kind where you can't make loud noises and surprise her. We each grabbed a noisemaker and got into position. Dr. Leskinen and Maho helped as well. Maho seemed unsure, but Dr. Leskinen was more than willing to participate.
I'm turning off the lights, Nya.
I wonder if Suzu will like it.
You never get to see Suzuha look surprised. But she actually really likes sweets, Nya.
And she's really nice.
Oh, Lucas just happy to be here.
When I said hi a little while ago, she said hi back.
Yeah, I wish I could get along with her too.
I wish I could get along with her. Has spent an entire week babying her in bed, trying to get her to feel better.
Yeah, I just don't know why she doesn't like me. I can't seem to get close to her.
Is literally the closest person to here outside of Daru.
You will. It'll be fine. You two are perfect for each other.
Wait, the stars on the television turned off?
What the fuck?
Wait, you can still see them. The outlines are...
What the fuck?
What? And then we heard Daru's voice from outside the window in the alley below the building.
Okay, I'm going inside. I'm going inside with Suzuha.
His voice was loud and unnaturally expository. Once he got below the lab, he was supposed to give a signal. Everything was going as planned. We all went shh at each other in the darkness. We could hear 2 sets of footsteps coming up the stairs. Everyone held their breath and waited. Timing was critical, but would she be able to figure it out before we acted? The room was
She's
filled with
definitely
different
gonna
smells.
fucking kill someone on the spot.
Right? Like the girl's perfume and the aroma of the food they'd made. Didn't Suzuha always notice these things more quickly than an ordinary person would? Started to get worried. And then I
They
heard
zoom
the
in
sound of
on the
front door
confusing
opening.
TV.
Uh-huh. Nobody's here today then, huh?
Well, some days are like that.
Daru, you idiot, your voice is shaking. Got even more nervous. Is the time yet? Where was the signal? Felt like my hands were going to slip and trigger the noisemaker too early. My palms were soaked with sweat. Could tell Suzuha was taking off her shoes.
Now, Nya.
Ferris gave the signal. The second the lights went on, we all activated our noisemakers. I could see Suzuha flinch for just an instant. But I couldn't follow what happened after that. That's how fast she was. She dropped down, sprung off the floor, and leapt towards Yuki, who happened to be standing in front of her. She might have broken Yuki's jaw with the base of her palm before I could shout at her to stop.
Yeah!
Fortunately, Yuki had been surprised by Suzuha's sudden charge and slipped when she tried to step back. Because of this, Suzuha's palm barely missed Yuki's nose as it sliced through the air.
Huh?
Stop, Suzuha! Suzuha! By the time I'd finally shouted, it was all over. Suzuha had grabbed Yuki before she fell down and was holding her up. Yuki, Suzuha, and all the rest of us were too stunned to speak. That was close. Timing of events had been even slightly different. Yuki could have been badly hurt.
Stop, Nya.
Merry Christmas.
Mary Chrysler.
Everyone finally realized what had happened and began to panic. Yuki simply lay in Suzuha's arms, blinking her eyes.
What are you doing?
This is a great CG. Hold on. What is going on here? Daru over Daru popping his party popper. Oh, there is a lot.
And Suzu confused and panicking, but still ready to strike at a moment's notice.
Right? Like,
I'm not putting down the arm yet until someone explains to me what's going on. What are you doing?
Suzuha seemed to snap back into reality. She was looking around at everyone.
I said, Merry Christmas, Suzu.
Merry Christmas?
Yeah. Wow, that scared me.
Those were amazing moves.
It was too fast for me to follow.
Yuki, are you okay? Suzuha was looking around the room. Did she still not understand what was going on? Did she not realize it was a party since she'd never been to one before? The walls and ceiling were covered in wreaths and ribbons. There was a folding table filled with food, cakes, snacks, and drinks.
A party? I'm sorry. It was my idea to make it a surprise.
Yuki backed away from Suzuha and started to bow apologetically.
Suzuha, this is, we wanted to make it a surprise. We didn't mean to scare you.
Oh,
Suzuha?
brother, did you know about this?
Yeah.
I see. That's why you were acting kind of weird today, huh?
I'm sorry, Suzu. It was Mayushi who planned it all. So don't get mad at Yuki or Daru. Get mad at Mayushi. Just try it.
What? No, I don't want to get mad at anyone. I'm not going to do that on purpose. Come on, big sis Mayu. Do I always get mad like that?
Suzuha looked around the room again.
Wow, this is hard to believe it's the same lab.
Right? We all decorated it together.
Yeah, you even put stars on the television set. Is that another one of those customs I'll never really understand, huh? It's pretty amazing. It's really pretty.
Suzuha laughed half-heartedly, began backing toward the door.
Where are you going?
Huh? Where? You guys are having a party, right? I don't want to get in the way. Come on, bro. You know I don't belong in a place like this. That's not true, Nyan. Let's all have a party together. We literally threw you a surprise party. Huh? But I've never done this stuff before.
You just have fun and eat food and talk. So, come on, okay?
Mayuri grabbed Suzuha's hand tightly to keep her from getting away.
Big sis Mayu?
Come on, we've got a seat for you too, Suzuha.
But I really don't know what to do.
Just sit down, okay? Suzu.
We did this for you so you would be happy. Now come be uncomfortable. Otherwise you'll make us feel sad.
Wait, why did I say that in her voice? Mayuri half-dragged Suzuha over to the seat next to me and forced her to sit down.
Okay, every kitty. The gang's all here now, nya.
Round of applause, everyone.
Except for Moeka, but... Oh, right. Everybody started to applaud at Fubuki's signal. Daru played some Christmas carols on the computer. The grim atmosphere that begun to fill the room was banished, and I felt a little relieved.
Okay, let's start with a toast, Nyan. Pour your favorite drink into your glass, nya.
Everyone started to look over at the various drinks on the table. Here you go, Suzuha. Suzuha still looked like she was feeling as though she didn't belong, so I poured her some non-alcoholic champagne.
Oh, yeah, okay. I really don't think I can do this.
Why not?
Because I didn't come to this era to play.
I just realized how big her zipper pull is.
Yeah,
That's huge. It's the size of her nose. That's a big zipper.
it is a big zipper. Yeah, but it's like a functional jumpsuit, right? I guess it's meant to be easy to grab. I don't know. Fucking whatever. Just let her have this. The reason she came to this era, huh? I didn't have the right to say anything about that. I was the only reason she was still stuck here, unable to fulfill her task, but even so, Is it so bad to do this once in a while?
But
Suzuha, you think too much.
Daru joined the conversation.
All you're doing is having a meal with everyone. You're hungry either way, right?
Well, I mean, I guess.
Maybe Daru's statement caused her to realize it because her stomach rumbled.
See? Everybody made a lot of food for you, so just say thanks and eat it.
Everybody, you got all your drinks ready, nya? All right, let's have a word from Mayushi, who put this party together, nya?
Huh? Huh?
Mayushi stood up, flustered. As she stood, she bumped into Lukuko, who was standing next to her. The two of them almost spilled their drinks.
This unexpected, okay, I've volunteered you to give a toast thing reminds me of the thing people at my work do.
Yeah?
Whenever people are together, they always insist on toasts, and it's always not you stand up to give a toast. It is someone will stand up to volunteer whoever who looks least prepared to give a toast, to be the one who gives a toast.
So it's a game of hot potato. Can you improvise a toast?
Exactly. It's just, you will never be prepared. You will only be chosen if you don't want to do it. If you're ready and you're good at giving toasts, no one will let you have a chance.
Okay, but that's kind of like an understood thing of the circle, right? It's not just expecting someone out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, this happens every time, and it's always going to the person who's least prepared. This is a known quantity.
Mayuri, calm down. Okay.
Mayuri started to take deep breaths.
It's Christmas Eve today.
That it is.
There's normies out everywhere today. But this year, let's have a party and be normies ourselves.
Normies ourselvesies.
No, I don't think that's what normal means, Mayushi.
Oh, hush, she's doing her best.
Fubuki whispered, a little sad.
A bunch of people asked Fubuki out on Christmas dates. You should have seen them all.
They were all younger girls, though. Anyway, if everybody has a good time, Mayushi will be happy. That's all.
Mayuri gave a little bow and smiled to Suzuha. Suzuha answered with an expression that wasn't quite a smile.
All right, everybody. Cheers, nya. Maho nyan, you give the toast. What? Me? You came all the way out here, so why not give a toast and introduce yourself, nya?
Let me check our I checked Amadeus. Let me check our line real quick just to make sure that... Yeah, okay. Maho stood up with a slight frown and thought for a moment before she opened her mouth.
Thank you all for having me today. Dr. Leskin and I are from America, so we've never spent Christmas in Japan before. And I'm finding out that spending a cheerful Christmas with friends is also a really great...
Say something interesting, nya.
Oh, what?
Something interesting, nya.
This is also something
What?
people at work do, where if you try to give a generic toast, like,
Yep.
here's to friends and family or whatever, they will boo you down and make you start over.
That sounds absolutely hellish. I love it. Ferris, you're crazy. Oh, she was totally losing it. She was worse than Mayuri had been a moment ago. It's hard to believe I'd seen her interpreting in front of that huge crowd at ATF. Was she bad at ad-libbing?
Meow.
Maho's desperate attempt at something interesting was cute, but honestly a little embarrassing. Felt like watching a small, adorable animal.
Oh, Maho nyan, you've got what it takes to be a cat-eared maid.
Yup, this is the birth of Mahori Nyan Nyan.
Ferris and Mayuri were the only ones who seemed really impressed.
What am I doing?
Hayajo, that toast.
Right. I'll do that. Okay then. Cheers!
Cheers!
Everybody happily clinked their glasses together. Since I was the one who invited Maho to the party, I decided to cheer her up. That was an interesting toast.
I hate myself.
What are you talking about? You were a cool cat.
Mahonyan, when are you starting at May Queen? I'm not, okay? I'm literally a neuroscientist.
Ferris and Dr. Leskinen were both enjoying trying to make her feel better.
Suzu, let's have a toast.
What? I don't see any bread around here. Me too, Suzuha. Me too. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Suzuha still had a somber look on her face, but Mayuri, Yuki, and Daru forced her into a toast.
Here, Suzu. Mayushi made this.
Mayuri put a piece of quiche on a plate and gave it to Suzuha. When Suzuha took a bite, her expression began to shine.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Eat more. Eat a lot.
I can do that. It is an established fact of my character that I am very good at doing that. I can't eat it all at once.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, like, I can, but nobody wants to see that. Like, it's not fun. It's a thing I do when I need to. It's not fun to look at. It's pretty graceless.
Next, Mayuri offered the quiche to Maho and the professor.
Maho and Dr. Leskinen. Try some too.
Oh, I am literally twice the age of anyone else here. Who's the oldest person here? It's Maho or Yuki, right? Yuki and Maho, I think, are both 21.
Of the other people other than the professor?
Other than professor.
Yeah.
Was Fubuki? No, Fubuki or Kaide. I think Kaide was 20. Yeah, and Fubuki is high school. Okay, never mind.
Thank you.
It's good. This is really good.
Okay, try this too. It's shrimp gratin and ethnic-style fried chicken.
Excellent.
Wow, you really put a lot of effort into this. Thank you.
Yuki went around and offered everyone something to eat, but she couldn't bring herself to offer any to Suzuha. Mayuri kept motioning for her to go over, but Yuki just kept fidgeting. Maybe she was thinking about it too much, but Suzuha kept devouring all the food that Mayuri and Yuki had prepared and gushing over each dish. Two of them had been practicing their cooking for about a month here in the lab. Guess it paid off.
Oh, there's cake too. Kaide did the decorations.
I didn't do a very good job, so forgive me.
Kaide's really kind of clumsy, but doesn't that just make her cuter?
It attracts a very specific kind of person, but it's a living. That doesn't really feel like a compliment, Mayuri.
Everyone laughed. Then about an hour after we started eating. When we saw that everyone had eaten enough food, Ferris clapped her hands together loudly to draw everyone's attention.
Okay, every kitty. Now that we're all having fun, I'd like to start exchanging presents, Nya.
We didn't have time to get anything good. I hope that's all right.
Maho and the professor had stopped at a donkey hote on the way to Wako City. On the way from Wako City, and spent just 10 minutes picking out presents. It took me a moment. I'm like, Donkey Hote. God, yeah.
Don't worry, that's fine, Nya.
Don't worry, we won't be tilted if you got anything poor there. Get it? From the tilted, from the Don Quixote. I could it's a literary reference. I've been reading novels starting at the beginning of novels. Ask me about the Tale of Genji. It was pretty good.
I decided I want to know about books, so I started with the beginning. I'm going to read them in order, starting with the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah. I didn't bring anything.
Mayushi and I brought yours.
Mayushi was the one who chose it.
Well, I see. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
That's just gonna make me worry more. I don't think you understand how people like me work.
Mayuri mimicked Daru's words as she pulled out 2 small wrapped parcels from her bag and put them on the table. Both had the same wrapping as the one Daru was holding. I must have bought them at the same place. Mayuri had already explained to me Operation Number 2. Mayuri's plan for the evening was not only to make Suzuha smile, but to bring Yuki and Daru a little closer together.
I thought of a lot of different ways to decide who gets what presents, but in the end I decided we're just gonna draw numbers, Nyan.
Ferris gathered together everyone's presents and put a little stickers with numbers on them.
Nyan, nyan, nyan.
And then she lifted a bundle of disposable chopsticks up above her head.
Mayushi brought these so we could play the King's game tonight, yeah?
Wow, don't say that, Ferris.
Hey, Mayuri, the King's Game is something you play at singles parties.
I know that. I just got a little confused.
Well, I love it when girls order me to do things.
Hashida, you really are a pervert.
But
Wait,
that was my only line.
Shit, that was you! Sorry.
Hashida, you really are a pervert.
So we're gonna use these chopsticks, Nyan, so that Mayushi was a little confused about, and use them to pick presents instead. Meow. Whatever numbers on the chopstick you draw, that's the present you get, Nyan.
Ferris loudly shuffled all the chopsticks, then went around to everyone so they could draw one. She was also part of Mayuri's plan. In fact, Mayuri and Ferris were sending signals to each other with eye contact and with their fingers. When everyone was focusing on the chopsticks, they were busy relabeling Yuki and Daru's presents. They were so obvious about it that I started getting nervous that Yuki would find out.
Everybody get a chopstick, yeah? Okay, I'll hand out the presents. No opening your present until everyone's got theirs.
What?
Good. That was good.
What? You just mad you can't roll your R's like that?
I'm really mad that I can't do it very well or consistently, especially because I'm still trying to learn Spanish and I sound like an idiot.
Fair enough.
This is really exciting, isn't it? I wonder what I'm gonna get.
Ferris and Mayuri passed out presents according to the numbers that everyone drew. Once the presents were handed out, everyone started to take off the wrapping paper.
What?
Nai was the first to react as she gave out a very strange cry. Inside her box was a skull face.
Oh, isn't that cool? It's a belt buckle, Nai. If you wear it to school, I'm sure it'll make you very popular. Thank you.
Lukuko, you've terrified her. I was feeling bad for Nai, but when I took out my own present... whose idea was this? The box had a cute design, and inside it was what looked like a see-through white veil. The veil was decorated here and there with little pink ribbons. This can't be a...
Oh, you got it, Okarin.
What have you done?
You can give it to Mayushi as a present.
No way.
I'm sure she'd be happy to wear it for you.
What have you done? Why are we talking about this?
What? What's this about me?
Mayuri heard her own name and came over.
What's that, I wonder? It's baby doll lingerie, Mayushi. And a super cute and sexy one. You can wear it for Okarin, okay?
You know that's not happening, right?
Then why don't you wear it yourself?
I
like she says that blushing. Serious expression, blushing.
You know what? I'm giving this back. You can enjoy it yourself. I pushed the baby doll lingerie back into Fubuki's hands.
Okay, want to exchange it for what I got?
Sure, Fubuki handed me her present in exchange. The wrapping and lid had already been removed. I took a quick look inside. Sexy pink shorts and a pink bra. Yep, they were see-through. So, I'm beginning to notice a pattern here.
Oh, that was the present I brought. I'd love it if you and Mayuri wear it. You had Mayuri wear it. Enjoy.
Is that all you people think about?
Mayushi already got a present from Okarin, so I'm okay.
Amadeus rings up. No, I want to see it. I want to see it on him too. Let's just... Mayuri had drawn my present, perhaps because we were childhood friends. By the way, I'd chosen a huge chunk of chocolate in the shape of a gold bar, kind of thing you find in a Don Quixote bargain bin.
Ocarine, was there really nothing else you could have gotten?
Shut up, I read in a magazine that these things make hilarious party gifts.
No, there's no way anybody would want to get this. None.
Not a chance.
What? Not even a chance. Magazine said it was a sure thing.
Mayushi's happy. It's a gold bar. I'm never going to get to touch another one in my whole life.
But they published it in a magazine. It has to be true.
How could anyone be upset about receiving a very large amount of chocolate?
Right? Especially if it's a gold bar. That means the legend is true.
Aw, you're such a good girl, Mayushi.
You really are a good girl. There, there. Pat, pat, pat.
Fubuki and Kaide were patting Mayuri's head, half out of sympathy and half because she was cute. Somehow I ended up as the bad guy.
Okay, now it's my turn to open.
Yuki started to open her present.
Wow.
She took out a cute wooden music box. When she opened the lid, there was a little tin figure that danced.
Wow, it's so cute.
It's wonderful.
So romantic. That's so nice.
The girls all seemed really impressed, but Lukako
Mm.
was also impressed. It definitely looked like something a woman would enjoy receiving. With as many girls as there had been coming to this party, it might have been the perfect choice. Maybe I should have brought something like that. Son of a bitch magazine! Then I realized the idea had never even occurred to me.
Whose present could this be, Nya?
Ferris, you're making it too obvious.
Oh, me.
Daru reluctantly raised his hand.
Huh?
What?
Oh my.
Uncle Daru, you're amazing.
Huh. Nice one, bro.
Everyone except Mayuri and Ferris, who knew about it in advance, raised their voices in surprise.
This is from you then, Hashira?
What do you think? Mayushi was the one who told me to get it.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you. I'll treasure this.
Yuki held the music box close to her chest. She seemed very happy.
Huh?
Then her expression turned confused as she looked down into the box. Then she started to fidget.
Excuse me. I need a second.
She hurried off toward the washroom, still holding the box. As I seen the trick. According to what Mayuri had told me earlier, there was a fake letter from Daru himself taped to the bottom of the box. Something like a love letter along with an invitation to a movie date. Wondered how she was reacting. Meanwhile, Daru had also opened his own present, and he looked a little bothered. He had been given Ferris's present. Until he opened it, he looked really happy, but now he'd gone completely silent. According to Mayuri, he was going to get a pair of my movie tickets. Even though it was a present from Ferris, the tickets came with instructions to use them for a date with Yuki. Ferris responded to Daru's questioning gaze with a wink.
Good luck, Nya.
He seemed to be saying. For her part, Ferris received some kind of strange doll that Maho had bought at the Don Quixote. Lukako's present was a miniature remote-controlled helicopter that Dr. Leskinen had purchased.
That sounds rad.
Okay. Yeah, a little helicopter that go fly around. That's great. And Dr. Leskinen got a set of 12 cute crayons from Nai. Suzuha's present was a pair of handmade gloves. Yuki had evidently made them herself. Put them on looking happy, but maybe a little lonely, and smiled.
That's great, Suzuha.
Yeah. Wait, what did you get, brother?
This.
Huh?
Daru realized he'd been sit up and he was clearly avoiding looking at her. Suzuha seemed to understand and patted him on the back with a gentle expression on her face.
There. What's wrong with that? Go have a good time.
What? At 2, Suzuha?
What? No, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced A2. In the future, we retcon it.
I know you're right about that, but it bothers me, so...
Well, it's frustrating watching you two, you know?
But I've never been on a real date.
Neither has Mom, supposedly.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I see.
And as we all know, the best way to go on your first date is to uncomfortably do what everyone else expects you to do instead of doing something that you would both find fun. That is a real skill I learned in the future. That's how we go on dates. We just find you ask everyone else around you who's expecting the two of you to date what they think you should do. You both go do that. You feel really uncomfortable for the entire time, and then you just end it feeling worse about your relationship than when you started. It's a flawless system.
Yuki came back from the bathroom. She seemed to be having trouble walking straight. She sat back in her seat, but began to nervously nibble on the snacks at the table. And once in a while, she would take a look at Daru. For now, the movie ticket plan seemed to be going well. Staring too much could tip her off, so I should probably pretend I didn't know anything.
Oh, Maho got the music box Mayushi brought.
Oh,
Mayuri raised her voice when she saw the music box in Maho's hand.
It's a little Rilakuma.
I love it! It was shaped like a deformed bear. When you wound it up, its hands and legs would jerk back and forth as it played a tune. Very different design than the one Yuki had received.
is it really okay for me to get something as nice as this?
Sure it is. Go ahead. Go ahead. What kind of music does it play? I want to hear. Yeah, me too.
Maho started to wind it up. And as she wound it, Kaide turned off the music in the background.
Here we go.
Maho took her hand off the winding key, and the mechanical yet gentle sound that was unique to music boxes began to play. The lively atmosphere of the lab was replaced with a feeling of calmness and peace. We listened quietly to the sound of the music box.
Mayushi really likes this song. So do I. It makes you feel all warm, right?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I see. This is the song.
Suzuha stood up as if she suddenly remembered something.
Yuki, don't you remember? Huh? What?
Yuki was spacing out so hard she started to panic when Suzuha spoke to her.
When I was sick, this was the song you sang for me here. Oh, come to think of it, Yeah, it's definitely this song.
Suzuha seemed to be remembering something as her eyes narrowed.
Hey, Big Sis Mayu, what song is this?
This is...
Maru was about to speak, and then... out of nowhere, the world twisted. Ugh! I moaned in pain as an incredible sense of wrongness flooded through me. The whole lab seemed to twist and fade, and the happy party had been experiencing warped and waved like a mirage. This couldn't be. No! Somewhere far away, I heard something that sounded like a violent crash. I was barely able to move my eyes in the direction it came from, and I saw Fubuki falling to the floor. She knocked over a table. Kaide and Ferris ran over to her, calling her name. But it all looked so blurred, like I was watching a movie underwater, and everything was moving so slow. Their voices were getting further and further away. No matter how much I stretched out my hand, it reached no one and touched nothing. It was a terrible feeling, as if time and space were being torn apart, and even matter itself was losing its subjectivity. This feeling, even if I didn't want to remember it, I knew what this awful feeling was. I knew it far better than I had ever wanted. This was meeting Steiner. Hey! First world line shift of the game. Well, of this game. Kind of weird. Oh, also Fubuki kind of got hit with it too. It's that sickness that's going around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fucking
I don't remember what it was.
encephalitis or whatever.
Encephalitis. Yeah. She's got it real bad. For the first time in almost 4 months, I felt like the whole world was twisting. Who was it? Who had changed the world line? I didn't do anything. I hadn't interfered with the world, so why was the world doing this to me? I opened my eyes. Things had already taken on different colors. The world kept wavering until once again it became fixed to a single point in time. I wasn't looking at a warm, cheerful party in the lab anymore. It was outside. It was raining. The rain was falling on my face in drops so large it hurt. It was a midwinter rain. It was freezing cold, and I could feel it sapping the strength from my body. My view stopped twisting. I was staring at the broad back of a man I didn't know. I could hear the sound of many boots stamping through the mud, mingling with the falling rain. The stench was terrible, and the smell of sewage was so strong it hurt to breathe. And it was mixed with the awful smell of burning rubber and plastic. Where was I? What was I doing right now? Things around me had changed so much. I tried to understand the situation I was in, but my brain was having an awful time keeping up.
We're almost there. Hang in there.
When I stopped, a rough hand patted me on the shoulder encouragingly. I looked around to see a man my age with a strong, powerful face. It was a face I'd never seen. I didn't know him. Probably. The man was wearing the camo outfit and equipment I'd often seen the self-defense force wear on the news. He was carrying an assault rifle on his shoulder. There were 7 or 8 people around me, all dressed the same. They surrounded me in a circular formation and walked forward silently as they kept a careful eye on the area around them. These people the self-defense force? And they're walking in a circle around him.
Which is kind of weird.
Which means that they're probably either escorting him, whether it means that protecting him or keeping him trapped. Like, it means they want Okabe alive.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was wearing the same camo uniform that they were. I'm in the SDF too? Touched my bicep back to check, but there was no muscle. I was flabby and weak. Unlike the others, I wasn't carrying any weapons. What was going on here? I felt like these 7 or 8 tough-looking SDF guys were all guarding me. Since when was I that important? Still confused, I dragged myself onwards. Where was I anyway? It was a long path filled with dark brown mud. The walls formed a tall silhouette to the left and right. The path was filled with garbage and concrete rubble, and sometimes we had to force our way past it. I looked up past the high walls. Despite the rain, the moon in the night sky was strangely red and a little too bright. It was thanks to the moon that we were able to walk down a path like this without flashlights. Huh? Sound. I heard a sound. It was the sound of water. Looked over and saw a hole opened in one of the walls. Filthy water was pouring out. The water formed dozens of little rivers that blocked our path. That was it. This was the bottom of a river that had dried up. What looked like high walls were the river dikes. Where are we? I turned towards the man who had spoken to me a bit ago and yelled so my voice could be heard over the rain.
Shh! Don't make any loud noises.
Sorry.
We're almost through the city center. If we can make it to Narima Garrison, there'll be a car waiting for you, so just keep walking.
But his words cut off there. Everyone seemed more tense than ever. One of them grabbed me and pushed me toward the side of the riverbed. Everyone put their backs against the wall and held their breath. I could hear the sound of a helicopter's rotors in the distance. No, more than just one. They were getting closer. I had no idea what was going on, but I could feel my heart start to beat faster.
Get in the shadow of that car.
Past several meters of rubble lay an overturned car. Must have fallen into the riverbed after the water had disappeared. The entire body was bent inward and the roof was completely crushed. I lay down in the stinking mud and slid into the shadow of the overturned car. At the same time, the SDF soldiers were issuing each other orders, as if this was something they'd planned for already. 2 of them stayed by my side, and everyone else ran back the way we'd come. They all climbed up crevices and outcroppings on the wall, then disappeared over the edge of the dike and out of my view. Shortly after. Those were gunshots. And not just a single shot from a handgun or anything like that. This was the sound of war. I could hear the helicopters get further away, drawn by the gunfire. Oh no. And this world line was Japan at war? The Third World War. Remembered Suzuha's words. I happened to look inside the crushed car. I could see the corpses of a man, a woman, and a small child hanging upside down, still attached to their seatbelts. They were all covered in dried black blood. Looked like mannequins at a bad haunted house.
And given that this appeared to be a worldline shift, this means that this is the same date and time,
Yeah.
right? This is 2010, the December 2010? 2010. Yeah.
Then I realized. And so focused on moving forward, I hadn't noticed that they were, but I'd seen similar mannequins sunk into the mud. See their arms and the bone-dragging muscle exposed into the air, reaching up to the skies of seeking salvation. Put my hand over my mouth to stifle a scream. They weren't mannequins.
Now, get along the side of the wall and move. We're changing the route. Come on, stand up.
They pulled me up. My knees were shaking from shock and exhaustion.
The others are drawing away the Soviet helicopters, but that won't last long. Hurry.
The Soviet Union. My mind was dulled from the terror, but it seemed like there was something off about what he just said.
Get a hold of yourself. Do you know how many people have died to protect you?
Why?
We haven't been told why, but we were told to lay down our lives for you if we had to, and that you could change this country's future.
A helicopter passed over the riverbed. The bright searchlight passed by for a moment, but thankfully the shadow of the dike hit us.
This way.
The young SDF soldier, whose name I didn't even know, pulled me inside one of the holes in the concrete. When I looked closely, I could see it was the entrance to a sewer. It was just big enough for a single person to pass through. Struggling against the flow of the water that came up to my knees, I pressed on through the darkness. My sense of smell had already gone numb, so I didn't have to worry about the stench of the sewage. Once inside, we came to several branching paths. The SDF soldiers seemed to know which one would lead where, and they marched on without hesitation. And then we came out of the sewer and back into a riverbed. It was dried up just like the one we'd been through. Didn't know if it was the same river or another one, and the two soldiers didn't tell me. Either way, I was glad to be finally out of the foul-smelling darkness. I tried to take a deep breath and fill my lungs with fresh air, but... Way through I realized the riverbed smelled even worse than the sewer. Took an involuntary step back and then another. The sight in front of me was just that terrible. What was once a riverbed was now filled with bodies. Some of them had been burnt totally black, so it was impossible to tell how much death lay before me. And in the distance I could see what looked like bonfires. They were burning despite the rain. Fires were consuming the mountains of flesh that once were human bodies.
We're almost there. I know it's rough, but can you run?
Yeah. The SDF soldier spoke to me. Then I came back to my senses. If it weren't for these two, I wouldn't have been able to stay sane. We ran through the riverbed, one of them in front of me, the other behind. I could hear the constant drone of the helicopters above me. Sometimes the searchlights got very close. Each time they did, I would hide in the pile of bodies until they passed. I'd seen this many times before as I'd wandered through the world lines. I'd seen death. I had seen the moments when people had died. But at the same time, I'd never experienced what happened to a dead person after they were left out for a long time. More than fear, more than sorrow, the thing that hit me first was the smell of death. The rotting stench ate away at my body, not my soul. My whole body was rejecting it. It made me feel sick. Thinking that way meant trampling on the dignity of the dead, but I couldn't help it. The Valley of Hinnom. Remembered that phrase. That was what the strange attacker had said that night when they came after Dr. Leskin and Maho and myself.
It is better for you to enter life with one eye than to have two eyes and be thrown into the Valley of Hinnom.
That valley was the origin of the word Gehenna, meaning hell. It was said that the flames burned there every night, scorching the heavens themselves. Those who died merciless deaths with anger or misery in their hearts were flung into the flames, their souls becoming the black smoke that rained hatred down on the land. What I stared at now was Gehenna. Two soldiers led me to a half-collapsed subway tunnel. The lights were all off because there was no electricity, but there were 3 armored cars in camo colors with their headlights on to illuminate the way. They were 4-wheel drive off-road vehicles covered in thick chunks of armor, but I didn't see any real weapons.
You can take the subway route to escape to Saitama. I hear it's still safe at Iruma Base. If you can get that far, you should be able to escape Kanto.
Escape Kanto.
Ask them about it. For now, just hurry.
There were a lot of things I wanted to ask, but even as we spoke, I heard what sounded like gunshots outside the tunnel. The men forced me into the back seat of one of the cars.
Goodbye. I'll be praying for your safety.
What about you?
We have another mission to carry out. Farewell.
The 2 soldiers who had brought me here saluted, then turned around and left the station. I felt like I was never going to see them again. The door of the armored car slammed shut with a heavy thud. The car's crew were SDF soldiers, but just a little older than me. The diesel engine kicked to life, and the car raced down a tunnel that had originally been designed for trains. Of course, it wasn't a pleasant ride at all, but I didn't have any choice. No way I could tell them I wanted to go to Akihabara. I had no way to alter the world line. I had to survive in this hellish world. One tiny little discrepancy between this and the other game about how world line shifting works is that in Steins Gate, it's established that when a world line shifts, you're always in the same position, even if the world line you're going to has to contrive to get you there.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's brought up a couple of times.
And yet it can't be true, right? Because Okarin's very first time shift that he witnesses, everyone disappears.
Yeah, but only him. The person with reading Steiner
Mm-hmm.
is in the same spot. I'm not saying it makes sense that way. I'm just saying that was something that happens in the first one.
Yeah, it didn't ever seem that it was established to be a rule in the first one.
I had gotten the impression that it was, but it doesn't matter, really. Probably makes sense if it's not. I had to survive in this hellish world, and to survive I needed to do what they said. My wants didn't matter at all. I wasn't even allowed to express them. I just did as they told me and ran. It was all I could do. But I had no idea that it would take an entire month.
Damn.
Anonymous at Security Council. Story so far. USSR starts experimenting with a time machine and America goes apeshit. Give me that time machine. USSR. But I refuse. Eastern powers and Soviets get cocky. How's it feel to be right now, huh? How's it feel? Brings us to the end of your regularly scheduled Cold War. US. I'ma bomb you from Japan. What? USSR. Then we'll invade Japan. US. Oh shit. Right now. Oh, us. Oh shit. USSR is kicking ass. Hokkaido and Northeast Japan are screwed. They coming for Central Japan now? People of Nagoya, get the fuck out. Amateurs who know nothing about strategy need to shut the fuck up. The SDF may look like they're retreating, but they've actually got a defensive line at Mount Fuji. They're about to start a counterattack. Oh, so that was all starting on Christmas.
Yep.
The Mount Fuji line. www. Who the hell is dumb enough to believe Japanese Imperial High Command?
Isn't that ha ha ha? Isn't it like a
I think it's like
thing?
a laugh, like a ha ha. We better not start hearing calls for kamikaze pilots soon. Shut up, noob. Idiots like you are the real threat to Japan. Wait, what the hell happened to the collective right of self-defense? America's only interested in protecting Okinawa. So what the hell is SDF doing getting sent off to Siberia? How are they supposed to protect the country? You protect it, chicken hawk. You want to fight, go volunteer. They say they aren't getting enough recruits. They're going to start conscription soon, you think? What's the point of conscripting a bunch of fat otaku? They just get in the way. War these days requires professional soldiers. Says the fat otaku who doesn't want to go to war. There are barely any professional soldiers left in Japan. Our masters in America sent them all around the globe and then stuck them here. You guys will probably be getting your conscription notices soon. Good luck! I'm a chick, so I don't care. In other words, if we get a sex change, we don't have to go, right? Actually, you know what?
And definitely only for that reason. I wasn't already thinking about it, but
Definitely, yeah, exactly.
you know.
I'm not the only one thinking this, right? Here on Not 2chan. The real enemies of Japan are its own citizens, huh, asshole? So, seriously, are we going to be split up like Germany? It's likely. They say there's a provisional government forming in Okinawa. They're all set to abandon East Japan and just have America protect the West. Those incompetents in the government might honestly do it. Is this really the time to bash politicians? Traitorous shill. Traitor, shill. Strategically, America can't let go of Okinawa. Why Okinawa specifically?
Doesn't the U.S. have a major military presence there?
I think that's right. And Japan wants to keep some kind of government. That means making a provisional government in Okinawa is the best option. You bashed the hell out of Okinawa up until now, and now you're telling me this? Shut up, traitor. So if I'm a traitor, what are you? You're posting on @Chan right now. That means you either fled the country or ran to Okinawa. Is this today's you don't get to talk thread?
New tip added for okay.
Okay. And for W.
Excellent. The reason it took a month to get to Okinawa was that we were losing the war. Supposedly, the plan had been to ferry me by plane to Okinawa once I'd arrived at Iruma base, but the constant bombing had slowed us down, so they gave up on the plane and decided I would escape to Kyushu by ground. There was more than one attack by the Soviet spies and assault teams. Some of the SDF soldiers protecting me died, but when I got to Sasebo, I was able to get on a maritime SDF escort ship and managed to escape to Okinawa. Why were they doing all this for me? No matter how many times I asked, no one would answer. I mean, we know the answer. Or we have an idea as to what the answer is. Okinawa in winter was covered in thick clouds. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen a real break in the clouds for a whole month. I was thinking about that when I was loaded into a van with dark tinted windows that had come to pick me up from the port. Inside the car was not only the driver, but a middle-aged man sitting in the front passenger seat. He was very short, perhaps only around 150 centimeters tall. But he had the air of a military veteran. Even though he was fully dressed, I could tell he was extremely muscular.
Rintaro Okabe, correct? I'm Shimoyama with the Ministry of Defense's Intelligence Security Command. We're going to make a stop at the airport and then head to the Okinawa Defense Bureau in Kadena. I'm sure you're tired from your long journey, but I'll have to ask you to hang in there a while longer.
Right, of course. I'd heard that Tokyo had been destroyed.
Damn.
The major... yeah, that's a good... Hold on, let's...
That's
Shit.
hella destroyed.
That's hella destroyed. Very good CG. Hella destroyed, though. Holy shit. What is it with this series and destroying Tokyo specifically? Like, that happens a bunch of different times in a bunch of different ways.
Wait, does it?
Yeah. Like it also happened... I know it happens in Anonymous Code as well.
Okay, I don't
For different
remember.
reasons. I thought
Do
it
I know
also...
what happens in Anonymous Code?
Huh?
Do I know what happens in Anonymous Code?
I don't know if you do or not.
Is that the game that you just
it's
played?
the
Yeah, I
one
have
that
no
just
idea
came
what
out.
happens
Oh,
in that
okay,
one.
fair enough. Well,
I only know Robotics Notes and Steins Gate.
you haven't played the game for Robotics Notes yet. We got to do that.
That's correct. So I only know what's in the anime.
But in order to get that, we have to get through this first.
Yep.
The major functions of the Japanese government were now headquartered out of the Okinawa Defense Bureau to allow for better cooperation with the American forces stationed nearby. That is what Shimoyama explained to me. In other words, the place I was heading to was the core of Japan's defenses. Once I arrived, I would understand why I was so important that all this... Would I understand why I was so important that all these soldiers were willing to die to protect me? The car stopped in front of Naha Airport for a while. Then I saw a surprising pair get aboard. Who do you think it is?
What the fuck?
Oh, Okabe!
Wow, it's really Ocarine.
You're Yuki and Nakase. Wasn't expecting to see them here. I was wondering about, like, Fubuki specifically, who feels like she's setting up, at least in the anime, it feels like she was getting set up to be important, and then kind of stops doing stuff partway through, and I wonder if that was just a consequence of how they adapted it.
Maybe. Like, this doesn't happen in the anime, am I
No,
right? This does not happen.
Given what happens in the anime, I was expecting a different worldline shift to happen at that point, because... No, but this is absolutely... No, not at all. But they were the first people I knew who had met since coming to this worldline. That alone was almost enough to make me cry. Still, I couldn't just sit there and be happy. What about Mayuri? Do you know where she is?
She's fine.
Yuki nodded as if trying to make me feel better.
She was just with us.
Just with you.
That's right. Mayushi and Rumiho and Luca and Kaide.
We got to the airport this morning. We were all waiting because they said we could go to someplace called the Defense Bureau where we'd be safe. They said they'd take Fubuki and me there first.
And then they had us get inside this car where we found you.
Anyway, I'm glad that everyone is safe. Since Daru and Suzuha weren't mentioned, I was going to ask about them, but...
Sorry, but can you talk about this later?
Yes, Shimoyama cut me off and the car started moving. Weird that those two get the priority treatment, huh?
Yeah, super weird.
The plan is for your families to arrive at the Okinawa Defense Bureau eventually. We already have them under our protection. Really? I'm so glad. Your other friends are all in the car behind us. You haven't been separated, so don't worry.
I took a quick look and saw another identical van a little behind us. So Mayuri and the others were there?
Then we'll see them later, right?
Of course.
Yuki let out a sigh of relief.
Ah.
But then I started to wonder about something else. Why were we split into different cars? This van could hold at least another 3 people. If we squeezed tight, it could easily hold everyone. Or was there some reason they put me, Yuki, and Fubuki into the same car?
They spent a lot of manpower getting Okabe there, so at least he's in the car that's not the decoy.
Yeah.
The car we drove alongside the Okinawa monorail for a while, then went south down a wide bypass. It's so dark.
Huh? What was that?
Nothing, just there are all these stories, but they're all so dark. There were lots of franchise restaurants, big supermarkets, cafeterias for tourists, and rent-a-car places all jammed together along the side of the road, but all of them were dead silent, and the lights were turned off. Barely any of the streetlights were turned on, and the only cars were Japanese and U.S. military vehicles. I didn't see anyone out walking.
There is a blackout in effect, as well as a curfew past 5 p.m. Okinawa may be safe, but this is still wartime. Things can't be like they were. I can't wait for the war to end and everything to go back to normal.
Yeah. Normal, huh? Wartime, huh?
Tell me, Okabe, the Okinawa you knew was a bright, fun place, even at night, wasn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I've never been to Okinawa before.
That's a shame. Then I pray you get to come back for a good vacation sometime. This really is a nice island.
The car headed up from the bypass over a land bridge, and then to another road. We quickly came to a long tunnel.
I actually wanted to ask the 3 of you some questions before we got to the bureau. That's why I have you riding with me.
Oh, are they looking for Daru?
Oh, that might be it. Well, no, why would they need Kaede then? Not Kaede, Fubuki.
I don't know. That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, Fubuki was the one other person in the group who started to experience reading Steiner.
Right, so maybe in this timeline, her reading Steiner's a bit more pronounced.
And even if it's not, we know that time shenanigans are already active, so we can't necessarily presume that the reasons have to do with things that already happened.
That's correct. You're right.
It could be that that's a sign that later she'll figure some useful info out that they know they will need from her.
Right.
And that because of what happens later and someone went back.
Yep.
Huh?
My guess was right. That meant there was something he wanted to ask just the 3 of us, but why us 3? I wasn't particularly close to Yuki or Fubuki. I only ever started talking to them a few months ago, and then I shook my head. That was before the worldline changed. Maybe things were different in this worldline. I had no idea what my relationship was to anyone else in this worldline. Since the SDF had been treating me so well, I didn't want to make Shimoyama suspicious. Decided it would be best to leave most of the talking to Yuki and Fubuki.
Yuki Amane.
Yes?
Shimoyama spoke to Yuki first. Yuki went stiff when her name was called. I could feel it even sitting next to her.
You don't know where Itaru Hashida and his little sister are, do you?
Little sister? Must be Suzuha. I mean that even to this world line, Suzuha had come from the future and gotten to know Yuki and the others while pretending to be Suzuha's sister?
What?
I think that meant to be Daru's sister.
Yeah.
And the SDF evidently didn't know where Daru and Suzuha were.
No,
Yuki fell silent and glanced over to me as if expecting help. But I didn't know where they were either. I didn't even have any memories of this world line, so I had no way of answering. But Yuki's attitude bothered me. As if she knew where they were and was deliberately hiding it, and that I was supposed to be hiding it too. I could figure that out, I'm sure. If I could figure that out, I'm sure Shimoyama could too. A strange tension filled the car. Yuki was trying to hide it from whom?
You're sure you don't know?
Shimoyama turned around from the front passenger seat and asked again.
I'm sorry.
Yuki bowed her head in apology.
But you were very close to him, weren't you? You were his lover, and yet you heard nothing.
You know that cell phones don't work anymore, right?
There are plenty of ways to get in touch with someone besides a cell phone.
But I really don't.
Nothing from his sister, either.
Nothing.
By the way, I'm told you were researching something with Hashida, Okabe.
Huh? I wasn't sure how to react when the conversation suddenly turned towards me. Researching? Researching what? Uh-oh. If I panic, I'll make them suspicious.
What were you researching?
I just have to give him the most harmless answers I could. It wasn't really research, it was more like inventions.
Inventions.
Like whether you could attach a CCD camera to a bamboo copter to do aerial photography. Whether you could use the heat from a vacuum cleaner to as a hair dryer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not really.
Then you weren't, say, making something unbelievable and running away from us so that we wouldn't find out what it was.
Running away? Yeah, I responded. That was a mistake. That mean that Daru and Suzuha were hiding from the SDF amidst all this chaos? The SDF had risked their lives to protect me over the past month. Shouldn't I be asking them for help? I got even more confused.
If you don't know, then that's fine. We'll talk about Hashida and his sister some other time.
Okay. Somebody please tell me what the right answer is. How am I supposed to respond here?
Katsumi Nakase, there was something else I wanted to ask you. Me?
This time it was Fubuki's turn to jump in her seat.
No, don't get so nervous. It's nothing big.
Or so Shimoyama said, but Fubuki was clearly starting to get scared. Her reaction was strange, it was too strong. Maybe the self-defense forces weren't simply protecting us. For one thing, there was no way normal civilians like us merited such important treatment. But then what were they after? No, I could guess. The time machine. This war started with Russia's time machine experiments. Of course, Nakabachi was involved. I'd learned from some of the soldiers that even in this world line he'd sought asylum in Russia. And Suzuha was a time traveler from the year 2036. So if Suzuha was here in this era, that meant that it was Daru who made the time machine and brought her here. If you had a time machine, you could change the outcome of this war. It would make sense that if that's what the Japanese government thought, that's why they're trying to capture Daru, Suzuha, and their friends. As I realized that, the whole situation started to feel terrifying to me. Was this car really headed toward the Okinawa Defense Bureau? And if it was, were they really going to keep us safe there?
About the physical you underwent last week. Was there some problem? No, you've almost recovered from the wounds you sustained in Tokyo. And health-wise, you're fine, but you're under a lot of stress. Oh. Well, it's not surprising. You survived that terrible bombing. It's no exaggeration to say that most civilians have PTSD now. But it seems that your symptoms are a little different than most people's. You have very realistic dreams, for example. In particularly severe instances, they could almost be called waking dreams. I'm told at times you lose the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality.
Isn't that just PTSD, though?
Fubuki was too scared to speak, so Yuki interrupted. It was rare to see Yuki act like this. If nothing else, I'd never seen it before. It was plain now. Yuki didn't trust Shimoyama. In fact, she considered him an enemy.
No, it's very strange.
Shimoyama paused for a moment, for effect, and then rubbed his chin.
There are others who say they have very similar dreams, and not just one or two. What?
Huh.
Of course, the degree to which they suffer from this problem changes, but we found more than 10 in Japan alone. They exist in other countries too. Well, we've only got information from the West.
That's just a coincidence, though, isn't it? Fubuki was incredibly frightened, so I spoke in her place.
You've heard of Puchin, right?
Suddenly, Shimoyama turned his gaze towards me and asked me a question. Puchin? The Soviet General Secretary, right? I almost said the President of Russia, but managed to stop myself. The Soviet Union still existed in this world line. Puchin's title was General Secretary, not President. I'd heard that during my time at Iruma.
Correct. But interestingly enough, Nakase referred to him as the President of Russia.
What?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. And I'm not really what you'd call a good student. No, that's not it. It's one of those strange things about all the people who have these dreams. They all call him President Puchin. And they all call Gorbachev and Yeltsin presidents too. That's why the scientists have started calling it president's disease. Not a terribly clever name, if you ask me.
No way. Is he talking about reading Steiner? There's a strong chance that people besides me had that power, even if not as acutely. I never found out for sure, but what Ferris had said in the Alpha Worldline certainly suggested it. So it's certainly possible that Shimoyama's waking dreams were actually the effects of reading Steiner. If they were all aware of the Worldline shift a month ago, just like me, if Ibuki had the same memories of the other Worldline that I had, it'd make perfect sense that she called Puccina president.
Gorbachev? Yeltsin?
You don't know them. Didn't they teach that in world history?
I only took science classes in high school.
I thought everyone knew about them. Do kids today not know who they are? I find it hard to believe you're all that ignorant. I'm sure you know about Gorbachev and Yeltsin, right, Okabe?
Yeah, I suppose so.
And perestroika and the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Ooh, is he baiting us?
Yep.
Yeah, they were in the textbooks. Second after my words were out of my mouth, an alarm went off in my mind. Something was wrong. There was something strange about what Shimoyama was saying. And then I realized, the East and West were caught up in the middle of a world war. How could the Berlin Wall have fallen? And could Gorbachev really execute perestroika?
Oh, so this is a continuation of the Cold War?
Yeah?
Yeah. The time I realized that he had tricked me, it was too late. My panic appeared on my face.
You too, huh? And you were deliberately trying to hide it, weren't you? So the information was right after all. You know something important. Listen, Okabe, I want you to tell me.
Shimoyama suddenly laughed. It was a bitter laugh, almost eerily so.
Gorbachev, Yeltsin, who are these people you all keep talking about? We don't have any data on them, and neither do any of the American intelligence agencies. That data doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
So yeah, they went really far back for this Worldline shift.
Yeah.
I looked over at Yuki. Look on her face, I could tell she really had no idea who they were.
Perestroika, the fall of the Berlin Wall. Did these things really happen? Tell me, please.
But I couldn't answer. I was thinking of something completely different. I suddenly realized, well, the Worldline might have changed a month ago on Christmas Eve. What if Russia had used the time machine that day in an experiment to change the past? The goal of the experiment would have been to stop the collapse of the Soviet Union. And if the result of them changing the past was this Worldline, how foolish. A single change of the past and the butterfly effect makes the entire world so different. Did they know how many people had died?
Have you and your friends really experienced the history of a different world? I just can't believe it. It's just nonsense cooked up by some crazy scientists.
It's about to push me further when we heard the sound of an incoming call on a cell phone. Shimoyama grunted and took his phone out of his pocket.
This is Shimoyama. Yeah, we're on our way to the bureau. What? What do you mean? Damn it, that's the problem with these idiots. What country do these politicians think they're working for?
Shimoyama's finger slammed down on the end call button so hard I thought the phone would break. There was a look of rage on his face.
We're changing our destination. Head to Cadena Base, Gate 2.
Words were filled with irritation as he spoke to the driver. Changing destinations? Who was he just talking to? Sat there confused, Shimoyama started to call someone else.
This is Shimoyama. We're changing our destination. We'll meet at Gate 2 at Cadena Base.
That was all he said before he hung up.
What's going on?
The situation's changed. Okabe is headed to a U.S. military base. From there, he might get to take a fun trip on a U.S. Air Force plane to America.
What? America?
I'll ask them to make sure you get first-class accommodations, but don't get your hopes up. They don't listen to us any more than you'd listen to a yapping pet dog.
Why America?
I don't know if it's the CIA or the NSC, but someone wants us to hand you over.
But why?
Ask them yourself.
And then he turned back towards the front and fell silent, refusing to answer any of my questions. The car went down the road for a while until we got off at an exit that read South Okinawa. We stopped in front of the gate. Several U.S. soldiers had evidently been waiting for my arrival.
Look at that sign and tell me if you notice anything.
U-5 Air Force?
Yep.
Yep. I too love the U-5 Air Force.
Once we hand you over to the Americans, we're not going to get any accurate information from them. So this is my last chance.
Shimoyama turned around from the front passenger seat and looked straight at me. His eyes were desperate and begging.
Tell me, what are we supposed to do from now on? Please.
I remembered all the soldiers in Tokyo who'd fought so desperately to protect me. They fighting to help someone else in Tokyo right now? Or were they already? I don't know.
Okabe.
I really don't know. Do you think I could do something about this war all by myself? Knowing that Gorbachev and Yeltsin were presidents of Russia or that they were brought a dramatic end to the Cold War, that doesn't actually help anything. Hear the sound of another car getting closer. Shimoyama sighed and opened the passenger side door.
Get out.
I exited the car as I was told.
Okarin.
Hold on. We need to appreciate this. Yeah! She's just excited to be here. Mayuri got out of the van behind us and ran over to me. Mayuri!
Okarin.
Oh, CG! Aww. My childhood friend flung herself into my arms and I held her tight.
I finally get to see you.
I'm so glad you're safe. I could feel her warmth. Mayuri was here. I'd never gone almost a whole month without seeing her before. And this was wartime. I couldn't easily contact her like I could in the old world line, so I'd been so worried about whether or not she was okay. It was no exaggeration to say that I'd survived this far just to make sure. I'd erased the entire Alpha world line to save her. No matter what happened, I wanted her to be safe.
Okarin, you're hurting me.
Oh, sorry. I held her too closely. Took a step back.
Mayushi believed, you know. Mayushi believed she'd get to see Okarin again.
Yeah.
Hooray! You're safe, Nya!
Okabe.
Heard two more voices I recognized. Ferris and Luca, and behind them I saw Kaede. I'm glad you're all safe. Wow, hold on. Let's look at Ferris's hair without any of the stuff going on.
That's a lot of hair. It would have to be.
It would have to be. Like, of course it is. It's just weird to see it like that. Yeah. Luca looks so unhappy. I'm glad you're all safe. Oh, Luca didn't even have the hair clip.
They took my hair clip and they gave me a women's uniform.
Lukako, I felt myself getting choked up too when I saw Lukako cry. I exchanged greetings with Kaede as well. Fubuki had grabbed on to her like a little kid. She was still pale and trembling. Ferris, I guess you're not wearing your maid outfit for once.
It's been a long time since anyone's called me Ferris, Nya.
Ferris spoke sadly. Then she put her hand around my neck and held me close. Her little pink lips got close to my ear as if she was about to kiss me. Hey, what's going on?
Don't be so embarrassed, Nyan.
She laughed mischievously. Then Ferris, no, Rumio Akiha, whispered into my ear while pretending to kiss me.
Be careful. Don't trust the Ministry of Defense or the Americans. Adults are all liars. None of them tell the truth.
That's right, Ferris had a special talent. Cheshire break. She was incredibly good at looking into someone's heart and seeing what they were thinking. Figured that out. One of them just tricked me. Ferris looked surprised and took a step back.
That's sad, Nyan.
Yeah. Then I heard the sound of another engine. This time it was coming from beyond the gate and inside the base. It belonged to a black luxury car with an E on the license plate. Behind it was the minibus. Two of them stopped in front of the gate. It was time for my reunion to end.
Welcome.
An American soldier as tall as a basketball player got out of the car.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Hammond.
His Japanese was good, but not great.
Everyone except Mr. Okabe, please get on the bus.
He was smiling, but I could tell he wasn't going to allow any arguments. The other American soldiers were still carrying their rifles as they stood without smiles, still guard without smiles. Shimoyama and the other Japanese soldiers were watching us from a distance. They didn't try to stop us, they were just looking downwards.
Huh? Everyone but Okarin? What do you mean?
I think you're going to get put on a bus.
There is no need to be scared. We're just going to talk to you a little, then we'll send you right along to the Okinawa Defense Bureau. Come along.
Okarin.
It's fine. Don't worry.
How come Mayuri gets a hat and no one else does? Not even Rumio gets a hat. Wow.
But...
Yuki, take care of Mayuri, please.
Okay.
Yuki nodded and put her arm around Mayuri's shoulder as she led her to the bus. Everyone else followed.
Okarin.
Tell my parents I said hi. Once everyone but me was on, the minibus left immediately. The area in front of the gate fell silent. It's hard to believe this existed in the same world as all the places I'd crossed on my escape to Japan's main island.
All right, Mr. Okabe, come this way.
Told me to get in the back seat of the black luxury car. What happened to me once I got inside? I tried to think about it, but realized there was nothing I could do. Just about to get into the car when...
Okabe, run. If you go to America, you won't come back alive.
Shimoyama's scream was cut off by the sound of gunfire. In the corner of my eye, I saw the American soldiers firing without hesitation. No way. I tried to turn around when...
Get inside.
A large hand blocked my vision as Hammond held me down. I couldn't hear Shimoyama's voice anymore. Through the gaps between his fingers, I could see that nothing was moving. And I knew exactly what that meant. I shoved into the car before I had time to think about it. This is... I tried to open my mouth, but Hammond looked into my eyes and shook his head. I wasn't supposed to talk then. Hammond sat next to me, then closed the door. The car started to move. Soon we turned down a different road than the one the minibus was taking. America, huh? I'd never been there before. What were they going to do with me there? Use me as a guinea pig? Cut open my head and dissect my brain? Probably wasn't going to be able to do any tourist things. I like screaming, but I tried my best to stay calm.
There's someone I want you to meet.
Hammond suddenly spoke, and then handed me something. Took it before I even looked at what it was. When I checked, it was a normal smartphone.
It's not locked. Just hit that button.
Huh? Confused, I pressed the button as I was told. And then something appeared on the screen. Oh, Kurisu! It was the Amadeus Kurisu Makise. Why does the U.S. military have Amadeus? I was about to ask Hyman when, the first time in about a month, that feeling came back. Glad someone figured out what was going on.
Well, shit.
The whole world lost all its colors began to shift. The feeling of instability, like my brain was unable to recognize where it was. And then a dizziness and a sense of falling, like you get when you're anemic. I hear the blood vessels deep within my ears, and they sounded really loud. The sense of floating finally stopped. My surroundings coalesced into firm shapes.
Okarin.
Oh! And we'll have to see what's changed in this world line
Next time.
Next time.
Next time.
We'll see you all then, everyone. Bye.
Peace.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
Because all of that stuff was not stuff we're familiar with from the anime. That is all new. This is all new information and new lore. And so I'm here for it. I'm excited. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.